Hello there. So this is my little kind of speculation slash theory. This is just kind of like a fun theory. I added details from Minecraft Story Mode and just the original Minecraft game and some other people's theories, like game theory. I think he made a video. He did make a video on like the Enderman stuff. I added kind of that, but I don't think it was his theory to begin with. But I added that into this. But this is the history of the Minecraft world and how it started. So Soren is the very first player, the original Steve, you can say. Soren is fascinated about the blocky world around him, so he starts writing journals and books about it. He eventually turns on creative mode for himself and turns it off for any future players, and only turning it on to whomever he desires himself. Whomever he desires becoming to become an admin just like himself. So he basically becomes the original admin, the very first admin. Soren, having his own private world and being the admin, decides to create more worlds to have full fun on. Soren lets other players on some of his worlds, but not his original world, keeping that one private and for himself to hide in whenever he wants to. Soren turns his friends into admins like himself. The admins are Romeo, Zara, and Fred. Eventually, Soren would grow distant from his admin friends and live in his original world by himself, writing more books and perving on the Enderman because, he's fascinated by the Enderman. Fred would learn to love books and read many of Soren's books. The three admins created their own towns with other lucky players Soren had led into the Underneath, which was the name of the world they were living in. Romeo's town was named Romeoburg, Fred's town was named Fred's Keep, and Zara's being called the Oasis. Romeo would spend less and less time with Fred and Zara. He did not want to lose another friend like he lost with Soren, because he lost Soren as a friend because Soren went to hide in his own little world. Um, so he tried to keep them all together, but in his anger of failing to keep everyone together, he bedrocked the Underneath and created the first world, not created by Soren, called the Overworld. He took away um, Zara and Fred's powers and basically killed Fred. Um, while this is all happening, there was players in the other worlds Soren had created living their own lives. So like with Issa's world and stuff in the YouTuber world, um, Romeo would build the mine shafts and hide treasures and chests around the world for the players he would eventually add in. Romeo built the ocean monuments, jungle, and desert temples. He spawned in all sorts of different types of mobs and beings like villagers that he would build villages for and protectors called iron golems. Villagers to attack the villagers. He would have fun watching iron golems try and protect the villagers from the nasty illagers and the ravagers. He would make silverfish and animals. Once he felt he was done creating the world, he let players into the overworld. He would watch over them as they mined, crafted items, and built houses. The players would eventually find the right blocks to make a nether portal and fight the Wither. Romeo, wanting to create a new dimension, decided to make a stronghold and make a partially made end portal that would lead to the end, where he spawned in the Ender Dragon and its crystals. Players would eventually find the stronghold and create these magnificent buildings in the end using the blocks they found there. They would store their items in the chest to prepare themselves against the Ender Dragon, but the Ender Dragon turned them into Endermen. All the players were now Endermen. Romeo was upset. He did not know that he accidentally gave the Ender Dragon that power, so he took it away and created more people, more players that would inhabit the world and build the civilization with laws and ways of transportation. Soren came to visit Romeo in the overworld that he had created. Romeo took Soren's admin powers just like he had taken away Zara's powers after he killed Fred in an argument. Eventually, Romeo would create the Sunshine Institute to imprison players he thought deserved a punishment. Romeo would place Zara in the Sunshine Institute to live out the rest of her days. The old builders would later assemble and create the portal hallway and many other things, but they would eventually disassemble after some conflicts between them. Soren would find new friends named Gabriel, Eligard, Magnus, and Ivor. They would create the Order of the Stone and go on missions together. The Order's task to defeat the Ender Dragon was unsuccessful, so Soren, knowing about the command block, he used the command block to kill a dragon, made up the lie about the Order of the Stone having killed the Ender Dragon normally. Ivor disliked the lie and left the Order of the Stone, having all the evidence of him ever being the Order of Stone erased. In Minecraft Story Mode Season 1, Episode 4, I don't remember what it's called, but It is revealed that Soren is afraid of flying. He's afraid of flying because he once was able to fly. He once was able to fly, and has been so long since he was able to fly that he does not want to fly and then miss being able to fly regularly like he once was able to when he was an admin. Very few people would know that Soren used to be an admin. Those who did know that Soren was an admin, because he must have told them, would create a cult named the Followers of Soren. Years after the events of Minecraft Story Mode, there would be no more admins and no one add a large amount of players. If you don't know the ending of Minecraft Story Mode, Season 2, you should probably watch that. Players would use the portal hallway to find Soren's old world and create what they had in their world, like ocean monuments, desert, and jungle temples. They would have their own mine shafts, but once the players died out by being eaten by a zombie, killed by a husk, stray, or a skeleton, they would all be gone. The mine shafts would now be abandoned and filled with spiders. The Enderman would travel from world to world with their teleportation powers. The world would be just like Romeo's Overworld with the stronghold. The, there would not be a far land in this Overworld 2.0. Players were not able to replicate the far lands before they died out. Now, once in a while, a new player would spawn in to find the remains of an old admin's world, not knowing the history behind it and all the other players. It is unknown what happened to the other worlds that was connected to the portal hallway, like, Cassie Rose's world, Issa's world. One can say that those people had also died out, just like the people of the very first Overworld had. So basically, Overworld 2.0 is where you spawn in when you play the new Minecraft world, and it is Soren's old world, his old world he used to hide in. I hope you guys did enjoy this one. Subscribe and like for more, and bye, peace out.